I turned off the thing too.
Nah, Bluetooth was on, brother.
It was on?
Yeah, the whole time.
It's better now, though. It's better now. I hear it.
But the Bluetooth was on.
Okay.
Run it back, run it back.
Now we gotta run it
We're
back.
gonna run it back.
Man. Run it over so good.
We're gonna run it back.
Run it back. Just that saying hindering this word from going up. But guess what? Goddamn. Saying, I mean, the word's gonna go up. God's
brother. You bring up the name of the Lord again.
Hey, all praises to Yahweh.
Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kodash.
Double honor be unto the elders, the apostles, a great millstone.
Yep.
Shalom to you, Akim. Here and abroad, all right, in faith, sincerity of the same doctrine, all right, all throughout the earth, man. That's lifting up the name of Yahweh Shem Shai. We're getting into the prophecy of Yahweh Shem Shai because it's coming to pass in the earth. All right, we're getting into the word of Yahweh Shem Shai because it's coming to pass in the earth.
That's right.
This is what's happening. This is what's going on. The so-called white man, who's the damn Edomite, he's losing his mind.
Yeah.
The other nations, they're losing their damn mind. They're mad at America. Why? Because America is the place of wickedness. America is the so-called white man is the border of wickedness. Babylon the Great.
Precept.
Go ahead.
Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
The righteous, when the righteous are in authority, like King David, King Solomon, all right, and the righteous kings of Israel. When they were in authority, there was order. There was the law, statutes, and commandments of the scriptures of the Bible of righteousness, because that's what the law is. Righteousness. There was no faggots and lesbians and transgenders, all right, in the time of King David. And if there was, they were being put to death. They were being judged.
That's right. And there was
All right.
no woman to
There was no.
men.
That's right. There was no women in authority and in power positions. All right, in the rulership of Israel. Okay. There was no lies. All right, being taught to the people. All right, against the holy scriptures, man. All right, everything was in order. Everything was in its order, man. But here it is. You got the so-called white man, the wicked. All right. We're gonna see what the scriptures say about what happens when they are ruling. Go ahead.
But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn.
So when the wicked bear rule, the people are going to mourn. That's why you gotta work. You gotta live paycheck to paycheck. All right. You gotta deal with all kinds of wickedness and all kinds of things that vex your soul, vex your spirit. If you're dealing with the scriptures, you gotta deal with all of this faggot and lesbian and transgender shit.
That's something else.
You know, this is all out of order. This is what's causing the world to mourn. Okay? Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
This is a knock in the Hebrew.
Now, what are you reading, brother?
Yeah, this is the word mourn in Proverbs 29:2.
Go
The
ahead.
Hebrew word for mourn. It says sigh or groan in pain or grief.
To sigh, yeah, got it. To sigh or groan, all right?
In pain or grief.
In pain or grief. And that's what we doing. We're sighing and groaning in pain and grief, all right, of this damn society, of this damn world, man. All right? The so-called white man, all right, is about to go down. All right? And he's the wicked. He's proven to you so-called Negroes, like he has proven to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, but now it's all over the world. The world is mad at the so-called white man. All right, over here in America, man. All right? Hold up. All right, go ahead, brother.
Ecclesiastes 7:7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
Surely oppression. How do the people mourn under the oppression of rulership of the wicked? By oppression. Oppression is what? You got to live paycheck to paycheck. You got to see faggots, lesbians, transgenders. You got to deal with all manner of things that are against the scriptures, that are against righteousness. All right, that's oppression. All right, you are being held, you are being looked at as a nobody when you're a prince of the power. All right, you being told that you're nothing but a nigga, a spick, all right, a wetback, all right, a prairie nigga. Okay, when you are an Israelite, this is by the so-called white man in rulership. The scripture say what? He oppressed a man in his house. All right, you stole our identity. You beat our identity out of us. You robbed, raped, and murdered our people. Yahweh Shema Shah requires that which is past. And you devils, you so-called white people, all right, you gonna pay, man. Surely oppression make up a wise man, not a foolish man, but a wise man. Because a wise man is gonna go into the scriptures and call you out.
That's right.
That's right. So, anybody got something? That's
The second half of that. And the gift destroyeth the heart.
That's that payoff, man.
Right.
The United States let them give out aid and payoff, I'm saying, their allies to keep them in line, you know what I'm saying? Give them that help, that aid, you know what I'm saying? That it's called wealth, it's called welfare state like Israel. Keep them in line, you know what I'm saying? And keep them close to them. And they gotta pay for it. It's not genuine. As long as they're receiving them goodies, they did. But they ain't receiving them goodies no more, man. Fuck you. I didn't bring that up.
This is Obadiah chapter 1 verse 7.
Proving that the U.S. allies, starting with the EAU, which is the acronym for United Arab Emirates, man, was over there, which is Dubai, Saudi Arabia. But Saudi Arabia, those are Arab Nazis, man. Them dudes are fucking crypto Jews, man. So they are allied with America for a reason. Read it, bro. They Confederates. Yeah, come.
I saw that one. It says, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith Yahweh Shai concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent.
Who's them ambassadors, man, that are sent, man? The rumor that you heard from the Lord is that America will be destroyed, man. Who's that ambassador? We are the ambassador out there, man. We are ambassadors, the spokesperson, or spokesman, or spokeswoman for a particular king, or particular nation, man. We are spokesmen for the Most High, Yahweh, who is the ultimate king, man.
It says, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
Because what's going on right now, we live. Somebody can be watching this in Norway, France, Belgium, Zimbabwe. Somebody can be watching this video right now as we speak in the Netherlands. So this world, Alaska, Winnipeg, Canada, this world is being stretched out throughout the four corners of the earth via internet, man, which is the unicorn, which is doing the heavy lifting that the Apostle Cabal always bring out.
Verse 7, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border.
All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. Who are the men of your confederacy? We're going to start with your allies in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, India, so-called allies of America that's playing both sides. Turkey's playing both sides, man. Russia and America, just like Pakistan is playing both sides, Russia and America. I did a video on that 2 weeks ago, how Russia have influence in Pakistan. That's allies, that's deceiving America. Read it again, Baba Kishon.
It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border.
Pakistan, India, Saudi Arabia. Then you got the EU, so the EAU, United Arab Emirates, that's closely allied with the United States government. But guess what, man? They're looking at the American government sideways because they knew that that attack on Iran, they said that attack on that Norway ship and that Japanese ship, ain't no way in the hell it could have been done by the Iranian government.
It could be UAE.
It's UAE, United Arab Emirates. But if you go back to 1967 to the Gulf of Tonkin, when
flag.
Huh?
Oh, the false flag.
That's a false flag.
To get them in the Vietnamese war.
Huh? You go back to 1914, the start of World War II, but they sunk that ship.
Lusitania.
The Lusitania. Right. It was a false flag to get the United States government into the wars, man. So what makes you think that them ships that are being hit by, and it wasn't landmine, it wasn't on water mines, because people on the ship were saying that that something flew into the boat. It was a drone. It was a missile from a drone, and it's coming out. So you got the United Arab Emirates. They ain't buying the propaganda and the Mongambo and the bullshit that America is pursuing is spewing out. Neither is Great Britain, neither is France, neither is Germany. All these nations, I look at America like, listen, man, we already know your MO, how you move, and what you did in 2003 with Iraq, also in 2000 with Afghanistan, man. We all know that your government, as well as the Mossad, was the Israeli counterintelligence agency, as well as Saudi Arabian government, had their hand in taking down the World Trade Center. It wasn't Afghanistan, it wasn't Iraq. Yeah, bro.
To back you up, this is a quote from one of the people that established PNAC, Project for a New American Century, prior to 2011. Was the PNAC, their goal,
2001.
prior to 2001, so like, their goal was to invade 5 Eastern countries within
7 years.
Yeah, right. Within 7 years. This is one of their quotes. It says, for it to take place, we needed some catastrophic and a catalyzing event, like a new Pearl Harbor. So, you gonna look at the word catalyst. I believe I know what it means, but a catalyst is like, yeah, look it up.
Catalyst.
A catalyst is like, can I give a definition? I can't. Well, I say the wrong thing.
Got it?
Catalyst. Catalyst. It says a substance that increases the rate of a chemical reaction without itself undergoing any permanent chemical change. But the second definition says a person or thing that participates in an event.
Exactly. All right. So they needed some type of major event. All right, to start an event independent of their goal. All right. So Tower's father would further the goals of them going over there in the east.
Also, you had to get the people behind you. The public. So what happened was, everybody during 2001, man, I remember that, man, clearly, man.
They were pissed off.
They was flying their flags, driving their cars. And if you had a car back then, man, you had no American flag on your car, man, they was looking at you and shunning you, man. Why you ain't supporting America, Slacky? Why you ain't supporting America? Where your flag at? Man, but you couldn't say that back then, because it was all, everybody was in that patriotic spirit, you know what I'm saying? Whereas, you was being shunned, man. If you didn't have no American flag flying off your car, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's a little small one, you had to have a flag on your car, man, at that time, man. Everybody was being patronized back then, man. Through the propaganda, through the media, Bush.
Bush, he passed a Patriot Act, if I'm not mistaken. That was right after that.
That was in 2002. The Patriot Act, 1. Then the Patriot Act 2 came in 2003.
One of these devils said, I think it was Benjamin Franklin, one of them quote-unquote founding fathers said, when you give up your liberty for security, you end up losing both. That's a true statement, man. And
this is Juan Emanuel. He said, this is an Israeli counterintelligence agency, never let a good crisis go to waste, man. Meaning, if you can capitalize on a crisis, man, you go hard at that crisis. You know what I'm saying? You capitalize on it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro. That's it, bro. That's what. You got more? You got more? Obadiah 1:7.
I'm gonna read it from the top. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee.
The men of your allies, how they deceived you? They took your financial aid, your government aid, and now they turning their back on you because they see all the fuckery that you're doing throughout the four corners of the earth, trying to spread that hegemony, man. So how they gonna deceive you? They're gonna come up against you, pursuant to Jeremiah 50:9, man. The Most High putting that spirit on them and tell them to align themselves against you, man. You can't get around it, man. That scripture, Jeremiah 50:9, keep coming up. Why? Because the spirit had me keep bringing it up, because these nations are going to align themselves against America, man. That assembly of great nations, man, he got more again.
It says, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him.
Come, they don't understand, because now they don't know what the hell is going on. Read it again, Bobby, because I got caught up.
It says, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him.
The men that are at peace with thee, I'm saying they deceive thee, and they go to eat your bread, your financial aid, have laid a wound against thee, man. Why? Because they're gonna come up against you, man. Jeremiah 50:9. I got a precept to back you up on that, man. It says, This is Lamentations chapter 1 verse 21. Matter of fact, is it? Or did I use my place? Hold on, real quick.
Hey, if I could just mention
I
something.
got it right here. Slack here. Lamentations 1 and 19. I call for my lovers, which are the American allies, but this is referring to Israel back then. But now you can equate the very same thing that happened in Israel back then, them aligning themselves with the wicked ass nation that was around them and forsaking the Most High. And now, when the Most High turned their back on them, put the spirit on this very same allies, they was, the very same nation that around them, that they was serving their idols, the Most High turned them against them. So here it is. Lamentation 1 and 19, the very same thing is going to happen to America, because America's allies will turn their back on them and come up against them. Lamentations 1 and 19. I call for my allies, for my lovers, but they deceive me. Like it said in Obadiah. You were deceived by your allies. It says, me, my priests, and my elders gave up the spirit in the city, while they sought their meat to relieve their souls. Meaning,
first that goes into Israel.
That's what I said.
Just like Amos 9 and 8 dealt with Israel back then, but now it's dealing with the so-called white man.
They went back to I said that before I went into it. They went back to Israel, but now it's applying themselves to Esau, man. All the allies of Esau, the so-called white men, gonna come up against them, man. You're seeking your lovers, which are your allies, but they're gonna come up against you.
Hey, can I mention one thing, just to add on to what you're reading in the scripture? When the scripture said, they that was confederate with thee have that eat thy bread, deceive thee, and they lay a wound under thee, that deals with the economic or the national debt. Because what do you got going on now? Or recently, you have China, which pretty much owns all of America's debt. Right. They're buying up a bunch of gold. They're buying up gold like left and right. And what is that doing to the U.S. international standard currency? It's laying a wound under them, man. Because why? The American dollar is not backed by silver or gold. It's a Federal Reserve note. It's fiat currency.
It's backed by shit.
It's backed by nothing. So that's a wound, because that's how the so-called white man are in his system, in his economic system, is being wounded, is being hurt badly. Go ahead.
This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him?
All these who? All these nations. Wait, let's say Psalm 83 is the roll call. Edom, Moab, Ishmael, and the rest of the other nations, man. You read Psalms 83, that's the all day. All right, those that are confederate against Jerusalem. All right, those that have the power on this earth. All right, not Israelites, but heathens. Go ahead.
And a taunting proverb.
A taunting proverb. Isn't not Iran saying death to America? All right. It's not other countries. Hey, brother, yeah, go ahead.
No, there was an article that came out yesterday on Daily Mail, and Iran, the leader of Iran, he called America mentally retarded. That's what he said about the Trump administration. He said they're mentally retarded. That's a taunting proverb.
And guess what? And that's not far from the truth. That is the truth, man.
They said his soul is not upright in him. His soul is
Go ahead. They're pushing this faggot sodomite spirit. Come on, man. That's retarded, man. That's not conducive to life. It's madness. Go ahead.
Yep. It says, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his.
Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How was America, North America, gotten? Hell, we just talking about America itself, but the history that goes back to Britain, that goes back to Germany, that goes back to Russia, that goes back to the mainly Europe and all throughout the world, a lot of it was ruled by Jake. A lot of it was ruled by Israelites at one time. But let's deal with America, right? Because America is that golden city, right? America is that golden cup. All right, the so-called Native Americans, the so-called Mexicans, the so-called Seminole Indians, the so-called Panamanians, the so-called Guatemalans, all the way down to the so-called Puerto Ricans, Dominicans. They're all already over here. And what happened? This is the new world. They was what? Robbed, raped, and murdered for this land. And now it became the 50 some odd contingent states of of America, man, which is named after a so-called white man, Amerigo Vespucci, man. You so-called white people, you have woe unto you because you gained that which was not yours. You stole this land. You stole the earth. For that matter.
I got something to bring up.
It says, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay.
How long? To him that ladeth himself with thick clay, man. All right? With thick clay. All right? To laden is what? To laden is the cover. All right? To laden is you're covered, man. You're covered in debt. All right? Go ahead.
I may say too, because you know, what you've been seeing on alternative news is that you know, everything is going up, man. Inflation is going on. You know, digital currency is becoming the new norm, man. And you know, you got the American, the IMF. They keep having these buyouts. You know, trying to you know, put a patch on America's economy, man. You know, but this whole dollar, you know, it's gonna come to naught because right now, the only thing that's holding it up, like we said, is the faith of the American people. You know, and also it's the Most High, man, because so-called white man's on borrowed time, man. You know.
That's right. Who was reading that scripture that eat that bread?
Yeah.
Read it again.
This is Obadiah 1:7. They that I'm gonna jump straight to the point.
Did Brother Brown want to Jeremiah?
Oh, no, that was Lamentations.
Okay, you can read that one. Read that one.
119.
Yeah, this is Obadiah 1:7, straight to the point. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee.
Yeah, they that eat thy bread. How did Brother break it down? He said, I'll make sure I'm not repeating what he said.
The aid that they give to
Prosper
other
and
nations.
yeah.
Right, all right. Now the scripture says, they that eat thy bread. Now, this is from Manners and Customs of Bible Lands. This is chapter 7, and it's under the sacred duty of hospitality. All right. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scroll down to a part that says, the guest served a meal. All right. It says, the sharing of food in the East is a very special act of hospitality. It means far more than it means in the West. It is a way of making a covenant of peace and fidelity.
Well, can I read up a little bit above it?
Go ahead, brother.
It says, the men that were at peace with thee
Look at that.
have deceived thee.
Okay, hey, look. This is the guest served. So this book pretty much goes into the ancient customs and manner of Bible times. You know what I'm saying? How things were done in the Eastern times at that particular time to get a great understanding of the scriptures. Because you hear certain phrases like eating thy bread. It says, and this is chapter 7 on the hospitality. It says the guest served a meal. The sharing of a food in the East is a very special act of hospitality. It means far more than it means in the West. It is a way of making a covenant of peace and fidelity. When Abimelech wanted a permanent covenant from Isaac, the confirmation of the covenant came when Isaac made them a feast and they did eat and drink. Genesis 26 and 30.
Can I back you up too real quick?
Let me finish real quick. I'm going to give it back to you, brother. It says, an Oriental, which is East, considered a sacred the expression bread and salt. When it is said there is bread and salt between it, it's the same as saying we are bound together by a solemn covenant. A foe will not taste the salt, and an adversary unless he is ready to be reconciled. I'm going to keep reading a little bit more. It says, in some rural district of Syria today, there is a custom that a person on a mission of importance will not eat bread and salt of his host until first the purpose of the errand is made known. They think that the covenant of bread and salt must not be entered into until the attitude of the host is known regarding the mission of the guest. Thus, Abraham's servant refused to eat at the table of Laban until first he made known the mission seeking the wife of Isaac. Genesis 24 and 33. Now, you quoted Obadiah, right? Slacky, brother.
Yeah, Obadiah 1 and 7.
You quoted Obadiah 1 and 7. Now, when you jump down, it says the abuse of hospitality, right? It says, among Eastern nations, it is considered a terrible sin indeed for anybody who has accepted hospitality from a host to turn against them in doing an evil deed. The feeling goes back to a very ancient times and is often alluded to by various writers. The prophet Obadiah refers to this sin. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, they that eat thy bread have laid a wound unto thee. So when we break bread, that's a covenant, like, straight up. So it says, read it again.
Yeah, I'm going to actually read it from the top. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border.
Or their allies.
The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread.
They that eat thy bread.
That's how that you make.
That means they that made a covenant with your ass. Because that was what the custom goes back to. In fact, it even says, the psalmist David speaks of this terrible evil. Yea, my own familiar friend in whom I have trusted, which did eat of my bread and lifted up the heel against me. That's Psalms 41 and 9. So eating of somebody's bread back in the East, in that time, wasn't like, yo, you want to come have some pizza, bro? Nah, man, it was like a straight up covenant until, you know what I'm saying? A covenant of fidelity. Go ahead. They were all about honor back then, man. There's a separate section just
You didn't just eat with somebody just to eat with them.
Yeah, right.
In other words,
right.
You know what I'm saying? That was somebody that was
It's not a precept, but it's on the footnote when it says they that eat thy bread. On the side note, it says in Hebrew, the men of thy bread.
Yeah.
Showing you it's like a covenant type of thing, you know, the men of thy bread. Once you feed somebody, you know, you let them in your house, like you just read it.
You're in agreement with each other. Exactly. Means an agreement. You're in agreement with each other, so therefore you're allies with each other.
That's why they got all these agreements right now. You know, like you just mentioned, the UAE, you got the IMF, all of the treaties is being broken. I got the scripture right here.
Eating of the bread is the same way as making a contract or covenant with somebody as it is today. Yeah, you see a lot of these, the U.S. will make a lot of treaties. And back then, they were saying they're eating of your bread.
Go to IMF as the bank.
I'm going to say the IMF.
International Monetary Fund.
That's slacking. This is Psalms chapter 55, verse 20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant.
That's it.
By going and doing what they do, man. Like what they did with Iran.
Yeah.
They made a covenant with Iran during the time of the Barack Obama administration, and where they hammered out a legitimate deal. And what Donald Trump did, he broke the treaty, just like every other Edomite during the time of the Greeks, the Romans, even up to now. What they did was they always broke the treaties up until the time of the Gadites, the Reubenites. They always broke treaties. They, to this very day, they never honor. They never honor any treaty or covenant that they agree with the other nation, and they only go against it. Because the show's not right in them, man. He's designed and built and programmed to go off.
Wicked. A little more. Verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
They come at you and listen. We're going to bless you. We're going to do that with you. We're going to help you build your cities up. We're going to give you any kind of financial aid. We're going to help you militarily. But just like Barack Obama was shaking Gaddafi's hand with his right hand, but behind his head he was smiling. He got the same skin color. Don't worry about it. But behind his back he had a dagger.
Yo, real quick too, can I bring out one more point? Yes. Lock in. I remember, you brothers remember the account of those dudes that was wandering? Remember to get the dudes that was wandering during the time of Joshua to make a league with Israel? They
kicked them far country.
Yeah. Now this is what sealed the covenant between them. This is in Joshua chapter 9 verse 14. It says, and the men took, it says, you know, I'm going to read at 13. And these bottles of wine which we filled were new, and behold, they be rent. And these our garments and our shoes are become old by reason of the very long journey. So they front.
They lie.
Yeah. But this is verse 14. And the men took of their victuals and asked not counsel at the mouth of the Lord. And Joshua made peace with them and made a league with them to let them live. So you get it. You get it? So
it's more.
It says
that was the seafood. I'm covering.
It says, and Joshua made peace with them and made a league with them to let them live and the princes of the congregation swear unto them. What I'm saying is the act of the league to make the league and the covenant was done by giving victuals, man. Going back to what? Giving of my bread. That's how come when Judas betrayed the Lord, he said he quoted the Psalms. Because they don't feed bread together. Like, damn, we eat bread, it's supposed to be a covenant, a tight pack, man.
See,
pretty much, yeah.
show you that Esau and the rest of these nations, they break treaties and covenants all the time. And that's why, I mean, Israel, they bound by covenants, man. Show me where Israelite, or show me where it did in time of Israel was. Any Israel, I'm saying, any time when the Israelites broke any covenants, man. There was always other nations breaking the covenants, man, against us, man. They come up against us.
That's right. Because it says, the words of his mouth were smoother.
Unless it's supplanted.
God.
Remember Simeon and Levi was supplanted them. You know what I'm saying?
Because
Unless it's done in righteousness.
because they raped their sister, you know what I'm saying?
You might break the covenant in righteousness.
No, because they raped their sister, so they wanted to have them with the foreskin. They went in there and whooped their ass. You know what I'm saying? They was all weak and shit. Because they all got circumcised, man.
Right. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
That's Esau, man. The words of his mouth are smoother than butter. Listen, we're going to make a covenant with you. Listen, all you got to do is give me a nuclear program. We're going to protect you. You're going to become under a nuclear umbrella. We'll give you financial aid. As long as you back the dollar, sell your oil in dollar, man, we good, man. That's the covenant, man. You sell your dollars, you sell your oil in dollars. Give it your nuclear program. We support you financially, militarily. Nobody gonna mess you. You under the umbrella of the American government. You under the umbrella of Esau. But when Esau sees fit, he canceled the agreement on the covenant and come up against you. Because the words of his mouth is smoother than butter, but guess what? War's in his heart. Because he don't care about that covenant, man. Because he know 2 years down the line, or 15 months down the line, or 6 months down the line, or 12 months down the line, he going to cross-face you and do you dirty. Just like he did Saddam Hussein, just like he did the leader of the Afghanistan government that they put in as a puppet, like they did to Gaddafi, so forth and so on, man. It's a list of leaders that got put down by the American government by making a covenant with the American government, and after a certain amount of time, when the American government felt they don't need you anymore, they drop you like a bad hat.
I got this quote from, this is, you know, you brothers are familiar with this quote from Maya Amschel Rothschild. It says, give me control of a nation's money supply, and I care not who makes its laws.
And how do they get control of? How do they get control of a nation's money supply? Through borrowing. They get the that nation into debt because they fund both sides of the war. They'll fund you. The winner, they don't have to pay back much because they don't want the victims. But the one that lose sorely, they gotta pay back and rebuild their nation. And if they do, Esau, you gotta pay them back. They say, you know what, I'm gonna give you some more money so you can build up their nation. Now you in debt, man. And what they do, they put in a puppet ruler to make sure that they bleed the resources of that country.
This is Proverbs 22:7. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender.
Hey, man, that's what the international bankers do, man. That's what the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, is set up to do. It's set up to get you into debt. Where the puppet ruler, or not a puppet ruler, there was a straight up ruler, once he borrowed money from the international bank, the World Bank, you gotta pay that back on fucking interest hard, man. So what happens is, he can't pay it back, and you gotta build up your nation from war. Now, let's turn over your resources, all the resources, whether it's the lithium, the gold,
Man,
oil, certain lands, the best part of the lands, turn it over to me.
I'd like to say something real quick. And that's what's happening to America with China. You know,
But
you know,
that's design, bro.
Yeah.
Because they all in collusion with each other, man. The international bankers own lock, stock, and grab of America and China. So that's all bullshit, bro. That's all smoke and guns, man, because that trade war shit is nothing but a distraction. That's all it is. So they want somebody the international bankers need the scapegoat to blame when the system that they got, that Babylonian money management system, created money out of thin air. When they go up in the smoke, they need a scapegoat, they need somebody to blame. You see what I'm saying? So it's somebody always there to take the fall.
That's why they're pushing war in Iran now.
See, but that's not going to happen because a lot of things got to come to pass, man. So the scapegoat, when the economy collapses, is the trade war. There's always a scapegoat. The international bankers are not going to take the blame because they want to, when the system go down, start a new system, electronically. But now, if they take the blame, who's going to go with the electronic system? So they got to appear to be the saviors, man. Order of chaos. They got to appear to be the saviors. Oh, we here. Oh, see, this is happening because of the trade war of Ping Jong, whatever his name is, and Donald Trump. But we got a solution for that. Never let a good crisis go to waste. We got a solution. We have a solution. We got a solution. Electronic currency. Mark of the beast. Come on, man. You got to see between that shit, man.
Resources gonna be limited that time, you know.
And that's what it is. Go on a game, man.
I appreciate it. We got something. This is Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad.
Once again, the nations are losing their damn minds, man. Because when you go into that word in the Hebrew, you click on it real quick. Go to mad. Yeah.
The Hebrew word for mad is halal.
Okay.
It says to shine, to flash forth, to praise, boast, be boastful. To act madly, act like a madman.
There it is. Alright? To act madly, to act like a madman. What is a madman? A madman is out of his damn mind, man. They accepted democracy. Alright? They took your philosophies and they took, different ideologies of yours and they made it, they incorporated it in their societies, and it's effing everything up. It's messing everybody up, man. Alright? So here's the backlash. Here's the consequence. The consequence is everything is just going to get worse from here on.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what the scripture's saying.
And you know what I'm saying? Let me say this real quick.
Yeah.
They're not telling you that the food price is going to go up because during the time of the harvest, they have not much to pick because right now we're in the time of the growing season in Wyoming, Maine, and all these places that grows crops. But it's been a lot of floods in the Midwest. And a lot of crops has been destroyed. Tornadoes, nothing has been growing. In Omaha, in Nebraska, which is, Omaha is known for the cattle, beef. Over 1 million cattle destroyed from floods, drought.
I can say something, bro? Real quick. Nothing in terms of value goes up. Nothing goes up. It's a currency loses its value. I'm going to make a good point right now. That somebody said. He said if you take what can an ounce of gold get you today? It gets you a suit, food, and shoes. Let's go back to the ancient times. What can an ounce of gold get you?
Land.
A suit, a food, and shoes. Medieval time, what can an ounce of gold get you? A suit, a food, and shoes. So things never truly lose value. It's a currency around you that depletes, man.
That's inflation.
You have an ounce of gold, you can go from the beginning of time
And it's
to
called,
now, you can get the same fucking thing.
and it's called Babylonian money magic system, and that system that Esau have adapted came from the ancient Babylon. That's why it's called Babylonian money magic system.
Yeah.
Because the Babylonians created money when they was at first they had a currency that was backed by gold, but when they started going in decline, like any other country, any other nation, any other empire, they start demonetizing. No, how can I say? They start devaluing their money, and they started creating money out of thin air
And it's
stealing from their citizens.
QE, quantitative easing, which is just more printing more money. The only people that really benefit from QE is the one that get that first push out of that new money.
First cut.
By the time it trickles down to us, we don't feel it. Why is that? Because by the time it trickles down to us, everything around us, the pricing went up already. It's like getting a raise a year later. If I get the raise in January, say I get a $5 raise in January, I'm buying mad shit at the same cost. Now you get that raise at the end of the year and everything that went up, you don't feel the effect of that raise.
Right.
So
and that's how they do it.
Yeah, so this is why they say let's do QE, quantitative easing, which is put more money supply out there, but the ones that benefit us is the ones that get the first touch of that fresh FRA.
I got something. This is Second Ezra chapter 16 verse 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth.
And that's why you see, you got all these, you got Aldi's, you got Trader Joe's, you got Dollar Trees, and yo, man, I go in Dollar Tree just to get water, cases of water, and toiletries, paper plates, and shit to clean my house with. But you see people with 2 or 3 shops of carts of that GMO food they got in there.
I mean, mowed out.
They don't even, yo, what? I'm saying, yo, you go to certain deals, right? Not certain deals, Dollar Trees. They got food in that shit, man. And you can shop, and you can do, and I see people doing their whole fucking shopping in there, man. Nothing but GMO. And you see most of them in there, they fat, they fucked up, they got canes.
It's a curse, bro. That's a fucking curse, man. There are people, some of these people, they walk around looking like blob monsters, man. That shit's a fucking curse from the Lord, man. I've been seeing that shit, bro.
And then none of that, they got little mustache, and they ain't walking around proud as hell. And they be, check it out, they be walking right proud as hell with their shirt right here, right here, check it out. And they belly right here, this little part of their belly, the little part of their belly out.
That's true. Fucked up. You're doing that.
Hey, I just wanted to add on to a point y'all brothers made about this Babylonian money magic system, man. You know, because they got another thing going on nowadays, as of now, currently. You know, the Bitcoin craze. You know, that shit shot up. Yeah, cryptocurrency, e-currency. You know what I'm saying? That's all manipulated. That's all. Hey, man, that's pretty much. It is an experiment. Just like, look, I'll say this through the spirit. The American dollar is nothing but a prolonged experiment of the international elite bankers. Because what they did with the Bretton Woods Agreement happened in, I believe, the early 70s.
No, it was after World War II.
Yeah,
no, it was after World War II in the 50s.
What?
In New Hampshire. New Hampshire.
Great World meetings happened because at first, prior to the United States, Great Britain was world reserve currency, the pound, the British pound.
And I say that because the Bretton Woods agreements, what they did was, they took the gold standard.
That was in the 70s.
That's what I'm talking about.
That was in the 70s. That was called the gold standard.
No. You talking about what he's talking about is what the aftermath of the Bretton Woods Agreement was when
that was in the 70s with Nixon and Henry Kissinger. It was called the gold standard. Taking access over the gold standard.
There's a name for it, brother.
It was called.
Is it the New Deal?
No, it was called.
Yeah, I thought it was the Slovakia. I thought it was the Bretton Woods Agreement.
It's pretty much when the dollar became legal tender.
Right.
Which
That's
was supposed to be temporary.
That's what I wanted to hit on.
It was backed by gold until prior to 1917. But it's in the gold standard.
Yeah, let's get the name for it.
It's called the gold standard. It's called
the gold standard.
It's the gold standard.
Okay.
But Henry Kissinger and it was Henry Kissinger and Nixon, how they went over and took
not the Bretton Woods Agreement.
Took the United States government off because prior to that, the money was back. It was a big depression in the 70s.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was. You go look at videos in the 70s. They got it on YouTube. It was war torn in Europe. Why? Because everybody was fucked up in the 70s, man.
Because it was started by France. The president of France. Because the Bretton Woods Agreement in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire said, listen, the dollar will be the world reserve currency because America at that time owned 2/3 of the world's gold.
They own everything, man. Because before you say that, bro, the reason why the America was becoming a superpower because after World War II, Europe was war torn. They had to build them shits back up. So the only superpower was America and Russia. And certain parts of Great Britain, because Great Britain, to give them all, because Great Britain still controls America to this day. Because America came out of Great Britain. So it was only 3 superpowers, but the main 2 superpowers was Great Britain, was slacking, was America and Russia. Hence the Cold War.
During World War II, as the other was going into, these European countries needed resources which they were getting from America in exchange for gold. At the end of World War II, America owned 2/3 of the world's gold. So it was agreed in Brentwood, New Hampshire, that the U.S. dollar, all right, will be equivalent to keep how much ounce of gold?
Did I tell you after World War II?
The U.S. dollar was equivalent to a certain amount of gold. So they said instead of tossing gold around, which is going to have dollars in any moment at a time, you could trade in your dollar for gold. So these countries, it was like bonds.
That was in 1932, but Franklin D. Roosevelt did that. And if you didn't have, and if you changed, I'm saying you had your gold, right? If you didn't turn it in, there was a $5,000 or $10,000 fine plus 7 years in jail. Who was going to do that? And this is after the war, after the Depression, and that's when they took the. That's when it became. It was called the when they took off America off the gold standard.
It was started by the president of France. The president of France saying, "Look, man, we had all this U.S. dollar, and we don't have none of the gold. So what I want to do now is I want to trade in my dollar for gold." But you know what America did? America lended out more dollars than they had gold. So all these nations are saying, "Wait a minute, no, we want our fucking gold." And the United States did not have enough gold. Hence, Nixon did what you call it, bro? The gold what?
Gold standard.
He did the gold standard because America was about to be fucked up if he didn't do that, which was temporarily take the dollar off being backed by gold. It's supposed to be temporary.
Well, let me say this right here, bro.
End up being prolonged.
So let me say right here, the gold standard, right? They took the American dollar off the gold, right? That's when the Rothschild started bleeding America, and it became the petrol dollar, backed by Saudi Arabian oil. In the 70s, by Henry Kissinger. Because Henry Kissinger was the CEO of one of them oil firms over there in Saudi Arabia. So what they did was, they used, because the Saudi Arabian government are crypto Jews. So they was all in cahoots with each other, man. They didn't fuck each other over. What they did was fuck the American people over. Because the dollar was backed by gold. Prior to that, you could change this shit in, man. You had a certificate, you change this shit in. But now they take that over. They take everybody gold, rather than gold. They're backed it by oil. Why do you get now? America is in perpetual war because all these countries, they want to sell their oil. These oil-rich nations want to sell their oil in euro dollars. They don't want to use the American dollar, but the American government is whooping their ass and making them use it.
Oil is not profitable during time of peace. You need war to fluctuate the price of oil to really have a value behind it. You have this guy, not Fidel Castro, the guy from Venezuela, Hugo Chavez. He's trying to make oil go $50 a barrel, man. Because as it stands right now, the United States dollar is the only means of currency to exchange oil in, man. That's why it's called the petrodollar. It's short for petroleum. All right, which petroleum is turned into different manners of oil.
That's right.
Gas oil.
So right about that, bro. But Fidel Castro, he lowered, not Fidel Castro, Hugo Chavez, he lowered the dollar to $50 a barrel, but in order for you to keep the prices
that
low,
would hurt. That would hurt my pockets.
It would have crippled the American economy. So listen, what you doing? What? $50 a barrel?
Nah, man. It's not that one of the states are cool in Venezuela. They don't give a fuck about you Venezuelans, man.
No, man.
Russia don't give a fuck about Venezuela.
We ain't no evil, man.
You think Vladimir Putin give 2 fucks about you people over there in Venezuela, you idiots?
It's all about
oil,
interest,
man.
bro.
It's about oil. It's about the oil.
Vladimir Putin's the devil too.
He's a devil. He don't give 2
eating my
fucks about the
too.
Venezuelans, man.
But the most I
There was no war over there. Why are you not making treaties with Haiti, man?
They don't care.
They don't give a fuck.
The Mossad using Esau to take down Esau. That's what's going on. Like the Mossad used all these nations that rule, starting with the Assyrians, the Babylonians. The Mossad used the men of their own nation to take each other down. The Greeks and the Romans, they was absorbed to the Greco-Roman Empire.
And things are so fagged out now that if we're still going by ancient times, America would just go over there and conquer you and have you pay tribute. But now, since everything's so pussified, they got to come in the form of, guile. Like, cools and, manipulating, you know, yeah, the sanctions, all that faggot shit, man.
But I got act like I'm cool with you, but
Yeah,
meanwhile,
that's
I'm
all faggot,
undermining
man. That's
you,
all some
man.
faggot shit,
Instead
man.
of being
Ancient
the man.
times, like, we gonna conquer you.
I'm taking
and
your shit.
And that's it, man. It was, man, was straight up back
Hey,
then.
bro, how many times in the ancient world an ambassador come, case in point, Sennacherib, the ambassador to Shalmaneser, man. And Sennacherib was an ambassador, and he came and tell Hezekiah, man, his men, hey, listen, don't listen to him, man, because you're going to drink your own dung and eat your own shit, man. Listen to Hezekiah, man, king of Jerusalem. Give up your arms and come to Sennacherib, man. No, come to Shalmaneser the Fourth. That's right after they conquered the northern tribes.
Let's get the scriptures, bro.
There's a little more. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth.
Aldi's, it's like Aldi's, Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's ain't cheap, bro.
Now Trader Joe's is cheap. You go there, man. I'm with it, man. You go there, man. They got some deals, bro. You just gotta know what you're doing. You're not a shop. You come out of that shit with $50. You come out of 3 or 4 bags, bro. You set.
Okay.
Aldi's, Trader Joe's, BJ's, Costco's. Yo, you come out of Trader Joe's, bro. You come out of with $50, you good, bro. You know how to shop. And you got a lot of women in that motherfucker, bro. They know how to shop, bro. Most be in. Who be in that most? You ever been to BJ's? You ever been to Trader Joe's, bro?
I mean, that shit's in Scarsdale, bro.
No, you got one on 72nd Street. It be Manny and one on 28th Street. You got many women in that shit, bro. They in the shop, bro. They got the EBT, bro. The EBT shit, bro. They know how to shop, bro. So you come out of that shit. I saw it, man. I saw it, bro. Y'all was in there buying a couple of items. I was there buying a couple of items, and I seen this lady. She had 2.5 shopping carts, bro. Spending over $500 in food. She had coupons. She knew what she was doing, bro. So you can get over that shit, bro. If you're not a shop,
I know some chick like that, man. She took mad shit from the Rite Aid, just mad coupons. She came like $2. No lie.
You not a shop, bro. I was looking at me and smile.
Damn.
You told me about that shit, yo. So I said that. And then after you told me that, I was in Trader Joe's online, because you know you gotta wait on, and then they call you. Hour 3, hours, whatever they call you. Yo, so I went to this lady, yo, she had mad food and mad fucking coupons, bro. She didn't pay that, yo.
Ain't pay shit.
Out of all them things, man, I just spent almost less than $200. I was right there behind her, bro. And she was telling me, this how you shop, son. An old lady.
Says, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth.
That's prophecy. This surely happening to this day right now.
That they shall think themselves to be in good case.
And right now, you got all these women with these EBT cards. I'm good. I'm gonna go to this place. I'm gonna go to Costco's. I'm gonna go to BJ's, shop in bulk and stack up in bulk. I'm good.
The prophets, they see the shit you can get now. They'll probably lose their mind. Like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Because lamb and all that kind of stuff is so like.
Back then was
you didn't eat meat. You didn't eat meat every day.
No.
You can eat meat here every day. You can. It's just like damn. 24/7 food. Every day. What?
Yo, bro. I mean,
For this price?
Because it said they shall think themselves in good case. So these people think the economy is doing good. You know, they saying Trump is bringing back the jobs. He's fixing the economy just because they can still buy things for cheap, man.
Lies, all lies.
It's all a deception, man. It's an illusion. Because just like in 1929, when the economic, that shit came out of nowhere. Nobody was able to foresee that. Only the people that was in the know. The regular citizens and shit, they didn't see that shit coming, man. They thought everything was all good and it's gonna happen the same just like today, man.
Oh, I remember a point too I wanted to make, man, real quick. Why it's so important to take the gold away from the dollar. Alright, so as a banker, my goal is I want people to borrow from me, right? I want you to borrow as much money from me as possible, correct? And how can I entice you to borrow from me? By having super low interest.
Oh, you were so right.
Yes.
You say that, yo, that's
you want super low interest. Now, I can't, my interest, if the dollar is backed by gold, I can't just lower interest because I'm bound by the fact that there's a limitation. Yeah, there's a quantity to it. You take away the dollar, you take away gold from the dollar, I could just print as much money as I want. I could give you zero interest. You know what I'm saying? And I could just have you borrow from me. That's how come they're saying the interest rate right now is damn near close to zero.
They said they about to even lower it even more. That's what they were saying.
Check this out, bro. We reached the gold standard, right, bro? After the gold standard, took the dollar off the gold standard and backed it by the petrol dollar in the 70s. Guess what happened after that, bro?
That skyrocketed.
You know why? Credit cards.
Yeah.
They started issuing mad credit cards out, bro. Spend as much as you want, and you only got paid the bare minimum, $20 a month if you want to.
Oh, and you have something called.
That's what they did, bro.
You have something called fractional reserve banking.
Yo, that's the same thing.
So with fractional reserve banking, I only need 10% to lend out 10 times the amount of what you need.
That's right.
So I only need $100 in the bank to lend you $1,000.
That's right.
Fractional reserve banking.
And who started that? That's go back to Babylonian money magic system, creating money out of thin air. As long as if I got $400 in the bank, I can give you $100, right? And
That shit don't even exist.
And you know what? Guess what? I'm gonna get some interest with that. I'm saying that, you know what? That's how they did it, man. That's how they did it.
So pretty much what's going on in America is you're slaving, and the banks aren't. There's nothing to them. There's nothing to them. They just print out more money.
That's all numbers.
And all these nations going back to the topic. All these nations are starting to see that shit. And they're like, listen, man, I'm not dealing with the American dollar, man. I'm going toward the BRICS, or I'm dealing with the euro dollar. That's what I'm doing. Because other than that, man, fuck with the United States now, I'm losing money. I gotta turn my money in, but I can go to Europe, I can go to the BRICS and spend my money and get the same amount of money, or even more. But my money, but if I go to the United States and turn my money in, I'm spending less, I'm getting less. I'm spending more and I'm getting less. So that's why the BRICS nations and all these nations that's not dealing with the American dollar, like Venezuela and all these nations, you see it's all kind of coups over there, wars, disruption of the people, or sanctions. Because the reason why they fucking with Iran, because Iran does not have a central bank in their land.
A Rothschild owns central bank.
A Rothschild central, they may have a central bank, but they own central bank.
They own central bank, that's right.
But not a Rothschild owned central bank.
This is what caused a lot of these wars here in America, is when these quote-unquote founding fathers try to establish their own central bank, printing their own money, such as Abraham Lincoln with the greenback and Kennedy, caused the wars, man.
And guess what happened? Both of them. Which Lincoln was Kennedy in the reincarnation. Because he tried to do the same thing 100 years later. Yo, this shit is crazy. 1865 Lincoln with the greenback dollar, right? 1963, same shit. 98 years later, they both got assassinated. So you mean to tell me that the reincarnation is not, and it's shot in the head, reincarnation don't exist? So you trying to tell me that Lincoln was not, that Kennedy was not Lincoln in the reincarnation? They did the same thing. They went against the international bankers, and they got their ass handed to them.
It goes even deeper, though. I came across some information that goes even deeper about, you know, this. I ain't gonna get into it.
More proof that reincarnation exists. Let me just say this real quick. Figueroa LaGuardia, they named LaGuardia Airport after him. He was a mayor in the 30s. What did he do? He went against the corrupt police force and took down the mafia. Who did that in the 90s? I'm gonna ask that question. Figueroa LaGuardia in the 30s took down the corrupt police force, made New York City a police state, but it was due, not cameras, it was due this dude, the homo. What's his name again? The homo? The federal homo? Through the police states, both of them was homo, Figueroa LaGuardia, and this other dude, man, the G-Man, his name, who started the feds, Hoover. They made it a police state through Hoover, because Hoover was spying on everybody back then. Now, they use cameras, but back then they used bugs. See, this is my point. Figueroa LaGuardia he was the mayor that took down the corrupt police force, took down the mafia, and established New York City as a police state. Back then was through bugs. Listen to everybody's conversations. Through the Fed, which was this dude the homo. Hoover.
J. Edgar?
Yup. Now, in the 90s, federal prosecutor. That dude who became the mayor. His name is Giuliani. Took down a corrupt police force, took down the mafia, John Gotti, and established New York as a police state. You can't tell me. But this time, dude, cameras, you can't tell me Figueroa de Guadio, that was in the 20s and 30s, and this asshole could be the same people. I may be wrong, but I'm just throwing that in the air. It makes sense though, right? It makes sense, right, brother?
There's still more in the scripture. Yeah, it's a little more. It says, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion.
Hey man, you got upwards of the people. You got people being put down by paramilitary police, shooting people, killing people. You don't hear it on the news. They try to keep it away from America. But if you go on alternative media outlets, man, such as RT America, RT Russia Today, different outlets, man, they're gonna bring out the straight skinny, man, and what's going on throughout the four corners of the earth, showing you uproars, man. Rick Sanchez shows you in like 10 countries, man, uproars, riots. I did a show on it. We ain't hear that shit on the main show. I ain't hear that shit on Channel 7.
Yeah, bro. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. But when they shall say, peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them as travail upon a woman with child.
Hey man, right now they're saying peace and safety, man. Donald Trump's gonna make America great again. You know, Donald Trump avoided war by calling back the airstrikes, which he was told to do. First and foremost, Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hands of the Most High. The Most High put the spirit on him to not do that. It's not the time to go into Iran, because certain prophecies have to be fulfilled first. The economy got to collapse, and they got to institute the Ark-a-Day microchip. Then World War III gonna commence. You see what I'm saying? So the Most High put the spirit on Donald Trump not to do that, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So think about that, man. The Most High put that spirit on Donald Trump. The king's heart is in the hands of the Most High. Proverbs 21:1, man. So why do you think Donald Trump did? He think he decided to do that on his own? It told you in the book of Ezra, 2nd Ezra, the Most High was working on the kings of the Persians' heart, man. The angel, Raphael, he withstood him. So that's showing you. Back then, a man's mind was much stronger than what it is now. It didn't take nothing for an angel to persuade Donald Trump not to strike Iran. But that ain't the time. There's more prophecies got to be fulfilled. And the major prophecy that's going to be fulfilled is the economy collapsing and them instituting a new system, which is the digital currency, which is the R50 microchip. And after that, which is the mark of the beast. And after that, man, then something going to happen. They're going to go into Iran against all the international community's wishes. And that's when Jeremiah 50:9 is going to commence too. The Most High going to put the spirit on to assemble, and assemble that great nation to come up against America. And that's going to be World War III, and that's going to be the destruction of America. And you can visualize it. I just put it in my mind and visualize everything. How the economy collapses, they come up with a new solution, digital currency. First and foremost, the Most High stopped Donald Trump from striking Iran because prophecies didn't come to pass. The economy is on the verge of teetering, it's going to collapse. Then they're going to issue the new currency. Then something's going to happen, and they're going to invade Iran. And all these nations are going to be against that. And then, exactly, the beast shall hate the whore. And then all these nations that's confederate against America, Obadiah 1:7 is going to come up against America. Jeremiah 50:9. They're the assembly of great nations. And they're going to fuck this country up right along with Saudi Arabia and right along with maybe Saudi Arabia may go against America too. They cripple Jews, but the two main countries that's going to be allies is Israel and America. They both will be right in the face of the earth. I can see that. I can visualize that. I can see it. How I talked about it, I visualized it, then I brought it out in my mind. I visualized it in my mind, then I brought it out verbally. I can see it, man. Through the spirit of Yahweh Shah.
Why do you have a bunch of shot?
Why do Yahweh Shah? Because that's exactly what's going to happen, man. And Esau, Lord willing, and Esau, the so-called white man, he's not going to stop. He's a great bully throughout the four corners of get somebody put up there. Just like any bully in a schoolyard, man. He's not going to stop slapping, taking lunch money, bullying everybody to somebody, giving wedgies, giving noogies, grabbing dudes' girls' asses, and saying, what are you going to do about it? Until somebody come up against him. Not one person, 2 or 3 people. Or 4
Jump
or 5.
that nigga, man.
And jump in.
And jump this nigga. That's what they're going to do.
That's
That's
what
not gonna happen.
man.
The whole school's gonna gather up.
That's how it be, man.
Jump this nigga.
You know, when a bully getting jumped, everybody jumping in.
Yeah.
Certain niggas that, man, fuck, I never liked this nigga anyway.
They go.
You that little nigga gonna come and try to get a little jab.
At the end, I've been saying that. My mama gave me this chain. Oh, here go. Hey, he gonna come up. Yo, all I had was to feed my economy. Yo, while you on the floor. You took my oil reserves. Pat. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of niggas.
That's gonna be in the
get
form
there
of
and fuck 'em up.
missiles. That's
My mama gave me that chain. My friend, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, so you know, brothers, you know,
Yeah.
Shimon, Judah, we all start to
Wrapping up here.
wind down.
But then Joe West says the bounds he can't pass.
Oh, 14 and 5.
Get out.
This is Job chapter 14, verse 5. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months
Alright,
are
now,
written.
you know the ancient world hourglass with sand in it?
So what? The days of our lives.
And then you turn it upside down and you say, listen, man, when this grain of sand goes down, it's empty, your time is up. As each day passes here in America, as 1 grain of sand getting dropped in that glass of the end of the so-called white man's rulership. And when that sand runs out, that is it. You cannot go past that. That's what that Heavenly Father is saying, man. Go ahead.
Thou has appointed his bound that you cannot pass.
So we can't force the Most High to come back and do his thing. It's a set time for this man to go down. Go ahead.
That was it. I got one real quick. This is Job chapter 20, verse 4. Knowest thou not this of old? Since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short.
The triumph of the wicked is short, man. Hey, man, the so-called white man, you know, our time it feels like thousands of years. But really, it's a few days with the Heavenly Father, man, which is a few days too much, man. This guy got to go down. This devil got to go down, boy.
Stressing me up.
And the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment.
Yeah, man. So the so-called Rothschild elites, man, they living nice, man. They living good. They having everything their hearts desire, and they still want more. But the Most High is saying, go ahead. Because the Most High is long-suffering. Just building up your case. Just like how the feds can break down and crack down on the nigga right now, but they just let the case build. Sometimes even years, 10 years. When you can just book the guy and end it right there. That way, then when they catch you, you have no excuse. Like, damn, man, we got you.
What they do, bro? They just sell all the drugs in the world, poison your
Hey, they didn't help you out.
They even send informants. The informants say you want drugs. Informants, but guess what? As soon as you commit the murders, they coming for your ass. They let you poison your community for 10 years, 20 years.
And then throw a rap shit this big. And when you get that thrown at you, what can you say?
Commit the murders. They got you on surveillance. They got you on what you call that, recordings. You can't do shit. You can't deny nothing. You just gonna take your time and just go away like a good nigga. That's how they do it.
One more. This is Job chapter 21, verse 19 and 20. Yahweh Shem Yahweh shall laid up his iniquity for his children.
That's right.
He rewarded him, and he shall know it. His eyes shall see his destruction, and he shall drink of the wrath of the Almighty Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So this man is going to drink of the wrath of Yahweh Shem Yahushai when the Lord returns to render his angry fury and his rebuking flames of fire, pursuant to the book of Isaiah chapter 66, verse 15. Because the Lord is going to utterly destroy America from one end to the very next, man. And there's going to be nothing left but desert creatures, man. Dragons, owls, all right? Because this place is going to be utterly wiped off the face of the map. That's it.
Hey, man.
Mine got something.
Yes, Psalm 75. Psalm 75 and 6, and I'll stop at 8. For promotion coming neither from the east nor from the west.
Bringing
nor
out
from the
how
south.
land back to the select, land back up. We said about Job 14 and 5. The Most High set the bounds, man, and the Most High put a man up beside a man and bring a man down, man. You know?
Yes, so 8 verse. Verse 7. But Yahweh Shem Yahushua is the judge. He put him down one and set him up another.
Hold that real quick.
Daniel 4 and 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers,
This is the prophets.
and the demand by the word of the holy
The
ones.
holy ones are the angels.
To
No,
the-
the watchers slack at the prophet, are the angels, and the holy ones are the prophets slack. Yeah.
to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men.
And the Most High ruled for the kingdom of men. The Most High set up one nation and bring them down. Wait a minute, bring it out again real quick.
Psalm 75 and 7. But Yahweh Shem Yahushua is the judge. He put him down one and set him up another.
Amen. The Most High put him down one and set up another. Read, bro.
It says, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over the bases of men.
And that's why Esau is in this position right now. The Most High set up Esau, which is a base man. And that word base means low. A base cave dwelling Edomite, red Hebrew Edomite. He's ruling. The Most High set him up. That's why he's ruling.
And all the wickedness that he's doing, the Most High, because one might say that God don't do this, God don't do that. The Most High is giving them credence to do even blasphemy, talk all that shit.
Right.
You ever see them ventriloquists how they have the puppet? Hey,
Yeah.
fuck you, nigga, fuck
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
They have,
yeah.
had the dummy talking against shit against him, but he's really controlling it. That's the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Got the ventriloquists. They just ventriloquist dummies, man. They
When you
really
look
think they.
When you look up necromancy or familiar spirits, look in the precepts, it's gonna say ventriloquist.
Oh shit, that's heavy, bro.
Because
It's kind of
what's
scary.
happening is
Fuck my mind over, brother.
I'm serious, bro. Check it out. Now, in my Bible,
That's
right?
like demons
In
controlling you. pretty
in my
much.
Bible, right? But it says necromancy or familiar spirits.
Yeah.
When you look into the precepts, you're gonna see a number. It's gonna say ventriloquist. Meaning, I said, oh shit.
Like that shit Les Crowley used to do. He said he used to go behind people. This is what he would do. He'll walk behind you. You go like this, and then the person will go like this, like from
Meaning, you go conjure up these spirits, and them demons can't speak. They need a vessel. So you need a vessel. So what they do is they put your hand on your back. It's called ventriloquism. The demon is speaking to you, just like the dog is speaking, but you really speaking.
Yeah, but
See what I'm
it's
saying,
really
bro?
crazy because
Yeah.
their mouth
Their
don't
mouth
even be
don't
moving,
move,
bro.
their
It
mouth
be
don't
mad
move.
weird, bro. Their mouth don't even move.
Their mouth to move, but
It
it's
don't look like it's moving.
Yeah,
But
but
the-
Yahweh Shah said that.
It's
Yahweh
called-
Shah said, like, well, look, man, when you come in the truth, it's like you kick the demon out. You know, give him a different keys. He's trying to open the door. What the fuck, man? Fuck.
It's in my old Bible.
This bitch banging on the window trying to get back in the house. Yo, what the fuck? Let me back in. Damn, son, nigga changed the lock. I can't get back in.
You ain't never getting back in.
But then, if you depart from the truth, the fucking house is nice and clean. Yeah! You just hop in there, you get Element, you get the niggas in ITR,
You get Malak Shah.
you get Malak Shah, you get the shit demon. Bro, that's a demon telling this nigga tattooed up his neck.
Yeah.
Yo, you can't picture the Lord with no fucking tattoos, man. That's all you do, man. But them the demons talking to this nigga like the brother was saying, controlling this nigga like a puppet, and just running wild in his mind, man.
It said familiar spirit. Go to the precepts. I look. It bugged me out. I was like, oh shit.
Yo, you had a dude that was so bugged out in the scripture, the nigga was sleeping amongst dead bodies, man. He had 10,000, he had 2,000 demons on him.
Yo, this right
He
here.
used to sleep in the tombs, bro, next to dead bodies. That's fucked up.
This shit is crazy, bro. Now you said that, bro, today, right? Now I seen this dude before. He be on 125th Street. He look in the garbage. He see food in the garbage. He looking in the garbage. He seen food in the garbage. He started eating the fucking chicken out of the garbage, right? Yo, eating out of the tray. He got demons on him, right? So I saw it. Check it out. Yo, bro, that ain't the first time I saw that shit, bro. When I saw him on Amsterdam Avenue, right? He was looking in the garbage. Damn. And it was like a piece of fish in the garbage. He took it and started busting it down. I said, yo, bro, what you doing, bro?
You told this nigga?
No, check it out. I was surprised. Check it out. So what the fuck you doing?
I stayed away from a nigga like that.
I'm saying, bro, you know, when I said it's a damn Jacob's in a lower state, man. So what I did was, I had a couple $dollars in my pocket. I offered the dude the money. Like, yo,
He said, nah. He said, nah.
He said, nah, I'm good, man. I have to get out of the garbage. So I walked away from him, right? I just walked out. I said, yo, this dude got demons on him, man. Yo, Jacob's in a lower state.
He got legions on him.
Legions. I started to call him Legion. I said, yo, you got legions on you, man. He said, whatever you want to say, man. Whatever you want to say, I got legions on me. He walked away. Yo.
The Apostle Paul said something, I never forget it. He said on 34th, man, he said, when you leave this truth, you susceptible. Because he didn't say it on camera, that's all it mentions this. He said, when you leave this truth, you're susceptible to all the spirits, man. And niggas take that thing for granted, but it's so true. Once you depart from this thing, man, then the spirits have, by all means, to get back in your ass, man.
Oh my God, bro. Check it out. I saw him again today, right? I was coming home, right? So I saw him, right? He went in the garbage, opened up the garbage. He didn't see nothing. He seen that. He seen fucking like a wing and a thigh. He was like,
Fucking it up.
no, the leg and the thigh. He was like, so I started, I looked at him, like, I know him. I see your legion.
Oh, man.
I see your legion. He was like, fuck you, threw it on the floor and walked away.
Hey, man, I got
So that thing must have remembered me. I said, Legion.
Bring this out, man.
He said, fuck you, threw it on the floor and started thumbing across the street, you know what I'm saying? Brr, 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 brr. Walk across the street, bro. That shit was crazy, bro. And you know what, though?
You can't make this shit up.
Yo, bro, when I saw that, and he said, I see your Legion. He said, he was eating, he looked at me, he said, yo, fuck you, threw it on the floor. It gave me goosebumps. I said, oh shit. I just said a Legion. It's walking by.
There you go.
He turned and looked at me.
You got demons on,
Man, I
man.
said, fuck you. Threw the shit on the floor. I got fucked this mill up and walked away, bro. So I called them, check it out, both. I don't say that. I don't say that to him.
Yeah, for real, bro.
Yo,
That's facts.
I ain't gonna say that no more to him. That's the second time I saw him. The first time I saw him, I told him I offered $2. He said, nah, man, I have to eat out of the garbage. So I said, that's what he said to me. So I said, oh shit, you got legions on me. So I said, you a fucking legion, man. He said, whatever you want to. He said, well, I'm a legion, man. He walked away. Some shit like that, right? So now months later, I see him again. Today, he's like, that's your legion. I said, oh shit, it's your legion. He was like, I said, legion. He looked at me, he was like, yo, fuck you. Slammed the foot on the floor and walked away, right? And went in the middle of the street, right? Cars was like, brr, 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 brr. He was like, fuck you. Kept walking like he was
Show you
like,
that
walking bugged up. Like, he was walking bugged up, bro.
Bro.
So I'm saying to myself, he had to remember me. Because I said, yo, legion. And not him. He didn't remember me. He didn't know. He bugged out of his mind. The demon remembered me. You know what I'm saying? I said, yo, legion. Yo, fuck you. That's how he went, yo, that's how he did. He was like, fuck you. Slammed the fucking shit on the floor, the chicken and shit. The Wessel, it was a bug, he devoured this shit, it was a Wessel.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
He came at you raw too. You know that's the
The
demon.
Wessel was the bone, right, bro? It was a Wessel. Damn. He said that he walked across the street, but cars started blowing a horn, they stopped, he walked across the street and shit. Yo, that shit gave me cool. I said, oh shit, I just walked away like, yo.
Don't fuck with that nigga.
I ain't saying shit. Cause now he got mad at me. He said, yo, fuck you. And he looked at me like he wanted to kill me, bro.
Oh, got something. There it is. There it is.
Shit was, bro.
I'm gonna take the bones out, but this is going back to ancient manners and custom of Bible lands, and this is on the sickness. And it says Jewish attitude towards sickness in Yahushua's time. Now, I'm just gonna jump down to the part because there's some bones in here. I'm gonna read it because I forgot where it's at, but I'm gonna take the bones out. It says the fact may be accounted for in their belief that sickness was caused by either the sin of the sick person or of his relation, and that they have that John 9:2, yeah, and that it was sent as punishment for that sin. Concerning the blind man, disciples asked Yahushua, Master, who did sin? This man or his parents, as he was born blind, John 9:2. Also, sickness was usually attributed to demons. So this is the scholar saying the customs of our people that we used to attribute sickness to demons, man. Meaning when you see somebody bugged out and fucked up, they knew that back then they had demons on them, man. Therefore, they considered that the cure was the casting out of these evil spirits, and that's accurate, man. That's not them speaking out their ass. It is actual. When you see somebody with a hunchback and all that type of shit, that is actual spirits on them fucking them
and
up like that.
And they showed you a movie like that. Remember that movie with the Chinese girl? The dude killed the Chinese girl over in I forgot the name of the movie. I forgot the name of the movie. But guess what? He was hunched over like this, right? And the Chinese girl was on his shoulders. He was like this, closed out of his mouth. I forgot the name of the movie, man. But he killed the bitch. Him and his boy, they drugged the bitch and popped her, right? And she killed him. But he was getting married to some American chick that lived in China with him, you know what I'm saying? And the chick was one of the Chinese, the Chinese chick was one of the Edomite chick, not the married dude. They revealed their stuff with him. They revealed the tape that he had a tape of how they did her dirty. And he kept it as a souvenir and led her to the tape. And she was like, how could you? Yo, I forgot the name of that movie, bro. That was a hell of a good movie. It was a Chinese, it was like one of them Chinese director. That shit was a good movie. I forgot the name of the movie, man. Shut Up. The movie's called Shut Up.
I got one more quick precept. And the guy here in this book, he makes a good point. He goes back to Mark chapter 5, verse 26, about the woman that had the bloody issue. He says, and he suffered, and she said, concerning her, and had suffered many things of many physicians, and that spent all that she had, and was nothing better, but rather grew worse. So she went to these doctors to heal herself, and they couldn't do it. To show that what? Her issue was a demon. It was a spiritual, and I didn't bring this point out, but it also goes on the fact that people understood that, so they will seek a more pious man. Pious means a faithful man, than an actual more educated man. Which shows that when Esau works on the left-hand side in curing people, man. All this cutting people open, and that's all satanic. The Lord said don't do these things, man. Right. Surgeries and, okay, your spine is fucked up, so we're going to open up your back and cut. That's all demonic, man. But for here, it's taken like nothing. Yeah. But really, that's some satanic shit. Really, you're supposed to pray to the Most High to get the demons off you, man. The spirits off you.
I got a precept.
Right, brother.
This is Matthew 4 and 23. It says, and Yahushua went about Galilee, teaching in their synagogues, and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing all manner of sickness and all manner of disease among the people. Verse 24. And his fame went throughout all Syria, and they brought unto him all sick people that were taken with diverse diseases and torments, all those which were possessed with devils, and those which were lunatic, and those that had the palsy, and he healed them.
It was an episode in the scripture where the dude said that my son throws himself on the floor and forms at the mouth. What is that?
It's a lunatic.
So
right now,
there's epilepsy.
In this day and time, man, he was seizure epilepsy.
Seizure epilepsy, yeah.
He throws himself on the floor and forms at the mouth. That was a demon.
Yeah.
You see?
Sure. These kids that be...
You see that shit? Yo, I know.
Yo, sometimes I look at that shit and I be like, good for you, fucking nigga.
Because
I know that must have been a wicked nigga, because I don't know, you go to the gym certain times, you got Dave and Buster's, they be taking them niggas there.
Yo, niggas with helmets on this shit, I be seeing them. Yo, check it out. Now I'm gonna say this right here, right? I'm gonna say this right here. I see this dude. I don't know, you probably see him too. He got a helmet on, right?
Yeah, for real, bro.
He got a helmet on. He got a helmet on. He got a beard too, so he gotta be either in his late teens or his early 20s, and I see him, and I be going to the gym at night, and David Buster's right there, like he said. He wears a helmet. The dude had on a helmet, right? And you could tell he had a diaper on. Let me finish, bro. That shit is fucked up. I know you was gonna laugh, bro. Cause I started laughing too. Yo,
Why not, brother?
Yo, the dude had a
Why
diaper.
not laughing?
Check it out.
I'm laughing because
I'm telling you, check it out.
Them
I'm
niggas
telling
is
you how
wicked,
demonic him and the woman and the nigga that was with him was, because the nigga had a helmet on, right? And you know how men be sagging? Yeah, he was sagging.
With
He
a
had
diaper on.
But they had him sagging. That's what I'm getting at. So he was like, you said he was going, he said it like he was flying. He was like this, like he was flying this shit, bro.
That's dope.
Yeah.
He was like,
That shows you gotta fear the most
He was
high.
calling.
Niggas,
Yo,
man.
check it out.
That's
In his
how
previous
guys-
life, he probably was a wicked ass
He was a
nigga,
wicked ass
and he died, and then
Absolutely a
he.
wicked nigga, man.
Hey, get this real quick. Second Ezra's 14 and fucking 35. It's like it, 14 and 35. After death comes with judgment.
Yo, Brock the hell about
Rock
Shimmy
the hell about Shimmy
Shah,
Shah.
getting them fucking niggas, alright, and having
Right.
mercy upon us, man, and
Right.
as it stands, to not be
Done.
caught over to those
Done.
right spirits, man.
Second Ezra's 14 and 35. But after death come 34. But after 35, after death comes the judgment. That dude he died in his previous life. He went in the spirit world, received his judgment, and now he's
Yeah, brother, that's
Beautiful, man. That's the judgment of the Heavenly Father.
Fear the Most High, man. The Most High fuck you up nowadays. It's Tuesday.
It's all control good and evil.
Go ahead, read.
This is 2nd Ezra 14 and 35. For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again.
Hey, man. After read that shit again so it can sink in.
That shit, brother.
I mean, that's like it. Read the scriptures again, bro. So
Hold
it can
it
sink in,
down,
bro.
brother.
Slow
Hold
it
it
down.
down.
Read it like so a retard can comprehend. Read it slow.
It says, 2nd Ezra chapter 14 verse 35. For after death shall the judgment come.
For after death, after when you die in your previous life, you come back after the third and fourth generation. Before that, you die, your body goes into the grave, and your spirit goes to him who made it. And you appear between the judgment seat and the Most High. Now, you receive your judgment, whatever the Most High deem your judgment is. You're going to come back as a retard, as a quadriplegic, as a cripple, autism.
Yo, man, those people like that, don't feel bad for them, man. Because I remember I was like that in the world. Now that you have understanding, you praise the Lord like the Most High.
Yeah,
got
and you thank the Lord. You
probably
praise
could
the
have
Lord.
been an adulterer, could have
Yeah.
probably been a faggot.
You praise the
Most High
Lord and
got
you
you,
thank the
man.
I
Lord.
seen this lady, right? I've been working in my neighborhood, over 125th Street for years. And I seen this lady, yo, she like this. She like in a chair, right? And I see another lady, right?
Got him, bro.
Yo, I see another lady, right? Check it out. Now, I've been seeing this lady. So, me being nice back in the days, right? I told her, say, hi, how you doing? Because I ain't know no better, right?
Yeah.
So now, I seen the lady the other day. She was like,
Oh, damn.
she's a fucking
Yo,
demon.
you know
I
what-
said, oh!
You know what this
Turned my head
proves,
real quick, kept moving, bro.
You know what
She
these
probably like me, I don't know.
You know what this proves, brother? That your spirit, that proves that your spirit is not in the belly. Because most of these plagues of the body takes place in the mind, man, where your spirit dwells, man.
And then check it out.
It's called mental disorders.
Now, let me just say this real quick before she did that. Yo, before she licked her lips, right? Yo, I saw her the other day, right? She was looking at me like,
And 125 bugged out, bro.
yo, she was looking at me, right? Just looking at me. So I was like, well, this lady got, I know she got that shit. This lady, bro. She was like, because I always used to say hi though, because, you know, at first before, you know, I'm talking about back in the early 90s, man. You see this bitch when she was young, hi. But now she old, she got hair right here. Huh? She see me every day. She live on the She was like,
I remember
she was like, staring at me, right? I walked by the store. She was in the Chinese store, eating that GMO fucking hog mask that the Mobiles be selling. She was in the store. I passed by. I looked at her. She was like, and then,
Remember me, honey?
and then the other day, right? I'm walking, minding my business. She in a wheelchair, getting into that little fucking cheese van.
Yeah.
She was like, she got it. She was like, like that to me with her lips. I said, what the fuck? I told my head real quick, right? I said, I told my head real quick. And I said, this bitch got demons on her. You know what I mean? So I said to myself, she hard up. She ain't getting no dick. She hard up. She needs some. And
fucking that, you got demons on you, man.
No, who gonna fuck that shit? But I'm
They got
saying
demons on them,
they
bro.
receive emotions and hormones than we do. But then I realized that this lady, even though she a retard,
Yeah, peace, sir.
she get emotions too. But she wants some meat. She wants some meat.
I gotta finish this, bro.
Judgment of the Lord.
Look at her lips like.
Yo, I told my like, yo, what the hell? I ain't know.
Damn. Curse on her, man.
What's gonna happen to her? Yo, she like this, bro. Yo, she like this already,
Put
bro.
her out of her misery.
Yo, she like this, bro. Like she's fucked up. She be like, yo, she fucked the fuck up. She be like, hey, she be like, hey, she be like,
Hey, look, bro, check it out, check it out.
Hey, we doing that.
Check it out, check it out.
yo,
And we talking about, mental retardation and mental,
That's
all
spiritual,
that. That's the Most High judgment.
Like
And
your mom.
even so, the Most High, the Most High judgment is so off the meat rack, so ill that the Most High could cause something to happen to your body even further into your life. You might not be born with cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
You might not be born with a mental defect, but
Like
something can
a
happen to
normal.
you in your life. Because I know of an Edomite, an Amalekite in particular, all right, and the Most High snapped a nerve in his neck to where half his face got cerebral palsy.
damn.
Yeah. So it's just
Wicked ass fucking
he's an Edomite, but nonetheless, the Lord and certain Jake have that too. All right, they have like one side of their face is just dead, and one side of their face is they can't eat properly, they can't do none of that.
That's what
Wait, most man.
Yeah, this brother on the combo puts, death is mercy for these demons.
Yeah,
Now, this is a scripture, Sirach 30:17. Death is better than a bitter life.
But that's the global that
It says, death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness.
Death. One more time, brother.
Sirach 30:17. Death is better than a bitter life.
Death is better than that's a bitter life, man. You living with cerebral palsy. You living with all of these other, whatever they call these mental disabilities, man. All right.
A coma, so many people on the
Well,
coma. Pull the plug, nigga.
yeah.
And that proves that hell does not exist.
Right.
We are in. This is hell.
This
man.
is
It's
hell.
a living
This is
condition. You know?
That's right. Hell takes place on the earth. That's why, man. Listen, man. And we know living in these cities, man. You walk outside and you smell a foul smell. All right. That's hell. Hell, you could be You know how much shit happens out here in this world. You could be smelling a dead body. People you got dumpsters and all types of vile stuff. That's why the scriptures say they are viler than the earth, because the earth is a place where judgment takes place, man. All right, this is where the effects of hell take place. That's why when you so-called die, your body goes to the earth, and what happens to your body? It decomposes, it rots, and it smells horrible, man. You don't want to be around the dead, So this is where hell takes place. This is bitter, where bitterness takes place on the earth. Not in another realm, a fairy tale realm, where you burn for all eternity. That's madness. That doesn't that's not scriptural. So death is better than a bitter life. Alright, and so that's judgment of Yahweh Shem Shai upon all of those that have these type of mental defects, alright, and those that even are judged even more so because you got Israelites, guys that know that they're Israelites doing all kinds of wicked shit.
And that's heavy you brought that out, brother. Yeah. Shimon, that's heavy because I did a show earlier, and that was one of my scriptures that I brought out about a bitter life and being in continual sickness. And I brought that out. And it's heavy, bro. I'm just gonna say it's heavy, bro.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna look at the video and you wanna see what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna say more, man. It's heavy.
We're gonna wind it down, man. Alright? Is there more, brother? Finish that out.
Yeah, it says death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness. That's it.
Continual sickness, man.
Because when you got a sickness of any kind of, whether it's a disorder, where you're a product of leeching, you're able to think and you understand what's going on. You're a product of leeching. You can't move. You really can move your head if you can do that. You got a straw in your mouth, and what your tongue do is what you can move around Yo, that's a bitter. Now you tormented. You bitter. Yo, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Before real quick, I was walking on 125th Street. 125th Street got a lot of demons.
That's what I'm about to say, bro.
It was
There's
this.
a lot of shit out there.
It was this dude pushing a female, a young female, and her legs was amputated, and she had a bitter look on her face, bro. And I felt her pain. I looked at her. I said, "Wow, she's real bitter." And she was a young female. She was pretty. But that was judgment. She was pretty. Yo, I don't know. Yo, bro, she was in a wheelchair, yo. It had to be God. I don't know what the fuck she did, but she was real pretty, blonde hair. A nigga.
Okay.
And she was real pretty. Young chick, about like 24, 25, most. Real pretty. And she had her legs cut off. She was in a wheelchair. And some dude could have been a man, could have been a brother.
That's the most side.
He was pushing her.
That's the judgment
Yo,
of the
she
Lord.
had the most bitterest look on her face. She crossing the street and I'm walking this way. And she looked at
I
me.
mean, she was rolling.
Yeah, she getting
Bro,
pushed.
she was rolling, and dudes put it. And I looked at her, she looked at me, bro, and that look on her face, bro, it's like she wanted death, bro.
You can feel the look
Yo,
on her
she
face.
didn't look at me like she hated me.
No,
she had
no,
to
no.
look, but
No,
she
she
looked at me, she turned her head like she was like embarrassed but bitter at the same time. And she was like, she turned her head, and I said, damn, she's bitter. Then I turned around when I was walking, and the dude was trying to open the door for her, and she was arguing with the dude like, let's leave me alone. I heard her say, let's leave me alone. And he's like, I'm gonna go in the store. She said, let's leave me alone. She put the damn on stop, and I thought, damn, she's bitter.
No, there you go.
And that's what came to my mind, man.
Ecclesiastes 3:16.
Death is better than a bitter life and continuous sickness. She's bitter. And look on her face, she looked like she wanted to die, bro.
Yeah, bro.
And I seen that look before, man, so I'm not even gonna get it no more.
There it is. Ecclesiastes 3:16. Right? Brother put it up there. All right. Secret of the Most High. Ecclesiastes 3:16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, the earth. All right, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there.
The earth.
Hey man, the earth, man. This is where it happens. Hey, yup. Hey, this brother's on fire.
And this is the place of judgment.
17.
And a lot of people don't understand that, man. That America, that not America, the world. Under the sun means the whole earth is the place of judgment. If you receive your judgment, you die, and you come back to the reincarnation, you live out your punishment, whatever it may be. So you don't know it. That's why Yahweh Shah said, fear not man, but fear the Most High. So he can kill both the spirit. He can destroy both the spirit and the flesh, man. How you destroy the spirit?
That's
How
what
you
I got.
come? You got to bring it out, bro.
Break it down. Matthew 10:28.
There's somebody got shot up in the Dallas camp.
Oh, sir.
Yeah, remember that? He got judged.
Oh yeah, the young brother fell out.
Yeah, he fell out. He was talking
Yeah.
shit, and the most guys getting shot up.
Him and his boy died, and he walked to the hospital.
No, you think about something else.
That was another spot. No, I didn't hear about this one.
Yeah, I heard the apostle mention that, man. He was like some dude, yeah, I watched one of the apostles' show. He was like some dude, and he came up, started talking shit. I guess because they didn't bring it out. The most shot his ass out.
Oh yeah, I remember that. He was in the camp. He came to the camp and was talking shit to the dudes and like to the brothers. And that same night, he got shot up and killed. He got killed.
Nah, man, the guy I'm talking about, he was
In the camp?
Yeah, and left.
See,
Holy
brother,
shit.
that's why
Just
if I
like
didn't
that
hear
dude.
about it, I ain't gonna speak on it.
Just like that dude that broke his neck, that was a part of DC, riding a bike and the most side of his ass get decapitated.
Yeah.
That was fucking around on the Passover.
Yeah, that's why I heard about it. I heard
Yeah,
about
brother
it,
put a curse him up and was knocking. Remember that?
Oh
story?
yeah, I heard.
Yeah, I mean,
I do remember that.
you brought it up, man. He said, yo, that's why brothers shouldn't play games, man. He said it was him and three other dudes.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were knocking.
And then hiding and shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He said, yo, bro, I put a curse on him and was knocking, man. And so the most that dude had his head chopped off right in the fucking bikes, man.
So in other words, he came to do the show when he was playing games, having fun
Passover,
gaming
yeah.
on the Passover, knocking on the door and hiding.
So brothers were serious, though, like, who the fuck, like, you know, shit about to go down.
Like, who the fuck is this? So that's like three dudes, we all come to the Passover, and we come to the house and we playing games and shit, knocking on the door and hiding and shit.
Sure, you're not supposed to be home.
This is Solomon 17. This is very serious Solomon civics. So what the hell Solomon civics? What the hell you playing games, knocking on the door and playing hide and go seek? Some shit my sister used to do. Again, my sister used to love to play. Let's play hide and seek.
Yo, man, the Most High is very merciful, but he's also
Dreadful.
very just scary, man.
Yeah.
Like,
just as it, like the scripture said, just as his wrath
yeah,
is, so is his mercy.
Yeah, man. Like, you know, right now the Most High has by all means the right to kill any of us, man. And we can't say shit, because Job said that. Job's like, yo, if I try to justify one sin where I went on fire, the Most High could lay 1,000 at me. Which when you use that 1,000, the way he used it means an infinite amount. So it's just like, really, it's the grace of this word. This is grace of the Most High, really, that we still not dead, man.
That's right. That we in this
And
truth.
bugged out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, this dude, that shit, I got goosebumps. I saw him one time before, and I offered him $2. He was like, nah, God, I eating at the garbage. And I saw him again today, and I called him a legion back then. And I walked through, I said, you a legion, you got legions of demons on you. He said some shit that, you know, so I got demons and shit like that. He walked away. And then I saw him today, and I said, you're a legion. You tell him, he was like, fuck you. That shit, I was like, oh, shit. I just walked away like, oh, shit.
I just got the scripture, we're going to pull it out. Alright, Job 10. Alright, just going on with the preacher Munn said, man. Alright. Job 10, 14 and 15. If I sin, then thou markest me, and thou wilt not acquit me from mine iniquity. If I be wicked, woe unto me. And if I be righteous, yet will I not lift up my head.
Being proud.
Yeah.
I am full of confusion, therefore see thou my affliction. Because what does the scripture say? It says, for the spirit lusts against the flesh, and the flesh against the spirit. These are contrary one to the other, so that you cannot do the things that ye would. So it's a constant battle. So, Lord willing, we righteous. Lord willing, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, all right, looks upon our spirits, looks upon us, all right, to be righteous and to find favor and mercy and be delivered. Because really, when it comes down to it, full of confusion, man. We fuck up in the flesh, and we get down on ourselves, and we feel fucked up. So we don't necessarily know, whether the Most High is gonna deliver us or not. So that's why, humility. That's why, being humble and showing humility and brotherly love. That's one of the main things that Yahweh Shai taught. Who's Silhouette? I don't know, some demon.
Well, Silhouette, and I'm not giving you brothers an order, but please put up curses on that person right there that said you the demon. Because here it is, we teach you the word of the Lord, trying to edify the elect.
Yeah.
And whoever you
and
is,
sincerity.
made that comment, you the demon, be on your own damnation, man. Fuck them, man. Made that comment.
May Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Hey, let's send a curse on this. Shalak, Ryan, upon this scoffer, upon this demon, silhouette, scoffing against your word, and us, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Shalak, Rayam, Wa, Anashim, Wa, Mashapatyan, Wa, Abadyam, Al, all these scoffers, Baba Kashab, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, the water.
Go on that demon shit, man. That's who the hell it is.
Sometimes, man, all of you demons, especially the cap, who's that?
Right back into demons out.
It's alright, man. Look,
You're Mark, dude. You're fucking Mark, man.
Probably some stink pussy bitch.
Probably is.
Videos, look.
Who knows? It's probably an agent of the government.
It's probably a stink bum bitch pussy. It's probably a stink smelling bum bitch that ain't got shit going for her. And all she want to do is this scoff and scoff.
I know the scoffers are necessary evil, but still now and then you gotta throw some curses on their ass, man. Just like Alicia did with them wicked niggas.
I guarantee you that's a fucking stink ass nigga woman, man. That's what it sounds like.
But whoever it is, the Most High is gonna destroy your ass.
Dead. You're fucking dead.
You're marked, man.
Marked, man. We say that it's just, but you're really marked by the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, for death and destruction.
You prevail. What you prevail?
Brother.
Sucking dick?
Brother.
Getting your ass fucked out?
Hey, bro, check it out, man. The Most High got something for you niggas. Male and female. Niggas is
Whoever
niggas.
it is,
It's
silhouette.
niggas.
It's gonna be a fucking stink ass nigga with man. I
Yeah.
guarantee you, man. I guarantee you, it's a stink, black, ugly, decrepit, bum bitch nigga woman with fucking weave in her hair. Some boyhead bitch. I guarantee you, all homo nigga. Fucking poo-puck bum bitch. Or sucker ass, homo ass
That's it,
nigga.
brother. That's it.
That's all, man. Well, with that, all right, all praises to Yahweh.
Power, Ba'Hashem, Yahusha, Ba'Hashem, Rakah, Kodash.
All right, double honor be unto the elders, who are the apostles of Great Millstone. All right, shalom to the sincere, true Akim. All right, that is sincere and real about this word. All right, and death to the rest. All right, that are fake and phony. All right, and piece of shit, low life niggas.
Death to them.
Death to you.
That's right, man.
Abba Baba.
Abba Ball, Abam Yasharala.
Kwam
Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Shalom. Damn about you.
Scoffers, man.